I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Well, welcome once again to another episode of Discover New Music. Very excited about our guest this week. Joining me from Canada.
A little bit of smoke, a whole lot of whiskey, a little down home, a little bit tipsy.
Are you, by the way, Cory, do you still reside in Canada, or are you kind of a man of the world now at this point?
Man of the world when I'm on tour, but I still reside here in Canada, about 20-some miles where I grew up in North Bay, Ontario.
Oh, very nice. God's country up there. I love Canada. Beautiful spot. And we love the Canadians down here. Don't let the current political stance fool you. We're big fans of the Canadians. But Cory Marks joining me today to talk the new album, Sorry for Nothing, dropped at the tail end of 2024. So it's been out for just over a month. The current single, Guilty, is out right now. Everyone's getting a taste of that. So let's talk this new record, Cory. Sorry for Nothing, a follow-up to Who I Am, which I don't know if you know this or not, buddy, was a massive success to the point where Outlaws and Outsiders, the single, certified platinum in Canada, gold in the U.S., reached top 10 at U.S. rock radio, number 3 in Germany, making you the first ever to do so as a Canadian country act. So with all of that said, those accolades, that praise, for this record, did that make you motivated or did it make you nervous going into this latest project?
Well, Brock, I got to say thank you for that. That's the first time I've ever heard it being introduced that way. And it sounds pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I mean, it's been tough. I mean, when that record came out, it was really, it seemed to be exploding everywhere in America, Canada, and of course, overseas. But and even way down under, but that's Australia for you folks that may not know the accent. But and then COVID hit, so kind of just put a halt on everything, and then things started coming back together. Now, of course, we have this new album out, as you mentioned, Sorry for Nothing, that came out December 6th, and that seems to be doing all right now too. And we peaked at in the top 20 at US Rock Radio again, so that was cool. But I think I've always I'm a country artist with rock and roll attitude, if you will. And I'm just happy that, we started doing these things. I've always been that way since my first record back in 2015, and now that it's crazy to think that, fast forwarding, and I'm actually working with guys like Travis Tritt, who did that in the late 80s, early 90s, really changed the game to that Southern rock tied into country. And we love our country music and we love our rock and roll. So why not mix the two in our own sound?
Yeah.
And that's really just something I've always been a fan of. So, I try to write and record the best that I can. And hopefully, whether you're country, rock, or even a little metal, you're going to love this sound too.
It's pretty crazy. And I think it's great because other than a few small sects of the music world and when people that get real genre specific, we've seen such this beautiful crossover that's really it's I mean, you could go all the way back to like Eddie Rabbitt and, like you said, Travis Tritt and some of those guys in the 70s and into the 80s, that kind of that rock and roll attitude. Garth Brooks was real big in it, Chris Ledoux, all those guys that brought in that rock and roll attitude to that country music. And then we kind of lost it a bit, but lately, I think you can attest to this, we've seen that merge of it. Why do you think it works so well together, especially in this day and age?
Well, I even talking to Travis, I think, we like to feel like we kind of brought it back with Outlaws and Outsiders in 2019. And since then, you're seeing guys like Hardy and Jelly Roll on the rock charts now, and other artists, trying to cross over. And I think that, for me, I've always liked to mix the storytelling and purity of country music with the rock and roll energy, and, when Outlaws came out, and especially the record later on in 2020, I don't think anyone was really doing that just yet. And I still don't think, even with this new record out, I haven't heard a record yet that can really, go from Merle Haggard, Vince Gill type country to Lamb of God breakdowns and, having a massive trio like Solly Erna of Godsmack with Travis Tritt, myself, and Mick Mars on one track. So I'm really excited about that, and I plan on keeping it that way. I mean, like I said, I think it all mixes like country and rock. It's kind of that same, kind of come from the same place a little bit, and well, I think for me, anyways, it's just been a lot of fun. So I like to have fun.
A lot of fun and also very successful. So I think you found that sweet spot, and it's fun to see that, especially someone like me. I grew up listening to country music, but also remember getting that first AC/DC, and I'd go back and forth, Diamond Rio to Def Leppard and everything.
I was just gonna say, you can't leave Def Leppard out, man.
Of course not. So well, it's working obviously, and we're seeing that with the latest album, the follow up again. Sorry for Nothing, and you did mention one thing I want to touch on. I love the way you put that. You said that the story writing aspect of country music with kind of that attitude of rock is such a cool, unique sound and way to get that message, that story across. And I think it's really great. But I want to talk now, because this was in my notes. You mentioned a few big names in there, and that's not even all of them, because your current single, Guilty, features DL from Bad Wolves. You also have previous tracks, and you mentioned Mick Mars, Travis Tritt, Sully Erna, Ivan Moody, Jason Hook. So do you just have like this Rolodex of amazing talent that you're like, who do I have here today? How did you get such a talented lineup on this record and previous records building off of your last one?
Well, if we're going to say, mention names, you can't forget the rock and roll queen, my favorite, Lizzie Hale, and of course,
Lizzie
Tyler
Hale's
Conley.
on there. Yeah, Tyler, and your Canadian brother, Tyler
Yeah,
Connolly, on
that's
there
right.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, I think most importantly, and one thing I'm grateful for is, first of all, you made my morning with all these wonderful comments. So Brock, thank you. It's having one of those mornings, man. I know it's not Monday, but it's cold and it's snow, and you're planning tours, and you're like, shit, man, like this is getting to be a lot. And
well, I'm glad I could bring a little sunshine to you, buddy. I'm glad.
Dude. Thank you. I think most importantly, with all these, what I've learned over the years from who I am and this most recent album and features, there's just a genuine connection through the music. I think most importantly, and for one reason or another, everything I guess happens for a reason, if you will. Not to sound too cliche, but looking back, it's like every artist that's on these records, they all kind of started their own thing and went their own way and became, who they are now. And I think maybe they hear that with my music, where it's you can't really pigeonhole it, you can't keep it in a box, but I mean, I like to think they think it's awesome too, so they want to be part of it, and I'm just really grateful for them loving it, and obviously now over the years becoming such good friends, and we've been on the road together, like with Hailstorm a few times, and I just got off a U.S. tour with Theory of a Dead Man. I mean, I get a Christmas card from the Tritt Clan every Christmas, which is really cool. And Mick and I still keep in touch, and it's just been really a wonderful experience and friendship amongst everybody involved. And I am really thankful. I'll never forget the text when I heard Sully was going to be on the song or was interested, and nothing was confirmed yet. And about a week later, I get a text from maybe Sully Erna of just this really beautiful, thanks for letting me be on this track. It's going to be a big one for you. I love the song. In fact, I might even love it more than you do. So thanks a lot. And I was like, shit, this is really Sully Erna.
That's high praise. See, me, it would have been a spam text and I would have lost half of my money. So I'm glad it worked out for you. And,
don't click the link, Brock.
Yeah,
do not click the link, man.
But he says he wants to be friends. I got to do it. Well, it's super cool to see that. And I just think it's such a fun dynamic to bring in. Obviously, people want to listen to you, but all these names that you love, and like you said, getting to share and get these great influences and these peers with you in making a record. And if anybody is looking for that, I tell you what, Sorry for Nothing is loaded with it, and not to mention Cory's previous works. It's really, really great stuff.
Thank you, man.
For this new record, do you got maybe a favorite track? And if that's a hard question, maybe a track that really speaks to you compared to the other ones?
Honestly, I say this in every interview, I think every song holds it, because it took so long for me to get this record out, and these 13 tracks that are on Sorry for Nothing, it's 13 that I picked myself out of probably 80 to 100 songs that I've written, since the pandemic that, that I love and that I think are special and I wanted to get out. So I think they all have their special place for me, especially when you break it down to the, country tracks, to the rock anthem tracks, to the perfect country rock mix. Obviously, I mean, Make My Country Rock is me. that's what I've been doing since the get-go, since 2011, or trying to. But obviously, like you mentioned, Travis Tritt, Mick Mars, All the Year of Godsmack, all in one song. I mean, and it was another big hit for me up in the U.S. and in Canada and in Europe. Canada didn't play it, by the way. So sucks.
They'll come around, those bastards.
But but I mean, that's obviously a special track. I think the title track, "Sorry for Nothing," just because that was really one of my favorite writes with Aaron Gillespie and Riley Thomas in Nashville, and it kind of digs deep of, kind of where I come from, what I've been through and how I got to where I am now. And, I always say, like, whether, it's country, it's rock, it's a little everything in between. And if you're not a fan of it, or if you don't like it, well, guess what? Either way, I'm sorry for nothing. And it is what it is. But there's another song on there that I've posted a teaser of. It's called "Tough to Be Strong." And I mean, I can go on about all the songs, but "Tough to Be Strong," I think it really, if you listen to that song and dig deep into the lyrics, it's something I wrote personally with a good close friend of mine and family. And I know that everyone struggles with it, whether it's mental health or addiction, one way or another. And whether it's you going through it or somebody close or someone, one of your loved ones going through it, it's always hard to be the person on the outside kind of watching it happen and not feeling like you're able to do anything. So I think those would be my top three, just because, you got "Make My Country Rock." It's all me. It's what I love to do. And obviously another big hit for me with the awesome features, "Sorry for Nothing" being the title track and really kind of my, invitation of my life and my story.
Yeah.
And then, of course, "Tough to Be Strong" is just something I think everybody can relate to. And it's right down the middle. It's country, It's pop, it's rock. It's kind of like an 80s rock ballad, if you will. A little Bon Jovi, little Bryan Adams.
And then 10 other tracks on there that people can be delighted to hear as well. Well, it's super exciting to have stuff out for you. Your third album. I guess I'll end with this before we get to have even more fun. We'll get to rapid fire and some Canadian slang as well. With this album, and you think back to all those years ago when your friends convinced you to sing in a bar, like, come on, man, you're talented. Get up there, go grab a guitar. And now here you are with, a massively successful second album. Now at the heels of another successful 13-track record. Do you feel like a rock star at this point, a country rock star, or do you feel like, all right, at some point someone's going to realize that you started singing in a bar and I'm fooling everybody? Is there an imposter syndrome, or do you feel like, hey, I got it here, this is for me?
Well, I didn't this morning, but now again after this interview and looking back on this record and the tours and the features and having this wonderful conversation with you, Brock, it's yeah, I mean, you're making me feel like a real country rock star, and that's where I aim to be and aim to stay. So it's a lot of fun, and there's nothing better than coming out with a new record and then being able to go play it live and literally seeing people, whether they're singing along to it or they don't know who the hell I am, going like, yeah,
I like it. I dig it.
I love it. I often get the meet and greets like, hey man, I hate country music, but I love your shit. It's like, hey, great. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, you get that guy who's gonna go get his beer while he was waiting for the man. And you're like, oh, I think I'm gonna stick around and listen to this guy. I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. And it's been a lot of fun, and really, sometimes you just feel like, you're bringing people over to the dark side or something, because it's like, I hate country, but I like your stuff, or the other way around, man. I'm not a really big heavy rock guy, but I love, this stuff's great. So, and I've introduced a lot of country folks to bands like Five Finger Death Punch and stuff like that, where, it might be a little too aggressive, but I'm like, trust me, man, when you see them live, dude, it's like, it's something else, man.
You get it.
So it's fun.
I love it. Well, I'm super excited for you, man, and congrats on all the success. Of course, Sorry for Nothing, Cory Marks. It's out now. Go get it. You're going to hear it everywhere, and I'm sure plenty more big things from this fellow Canadian, our northern brother up north. Speaking of that, now that we got the important stuff out of the way, let's have a little fun.
All right.
Because I love talking to all the guys from Canada, and usually when I get a chance to, whether it's Adam Gontier of 3 Days Grace or the Theory of a Dead Man Boys, which, by the way, and if my grandma's listening, I apologize for this. They got me so high on my birthday one time. Dean and Tyler.
Diener.
He snuck one on me, and it was my birthday. They were playing a show. This was years ago down in Springfield, Missouri, and we're hanging out after at the bus afterwards. And Dean just was like, "Hey, do you want a hit?" Well, I'm not going to say no. I mean, Dean from Theory of a Dead Man offers you a hit, you're like, "All right." Well, I didn't throttle it as well as I should have, and he had that good Canadian stuff. And my wife immediately took me home. I was splashing water on my face.
Oh
So yeah,
no.
he got me good. He got me good. I always remind him of that.
Yeah, those boys and the bus hangs and
Yeah.
late night smoke, it'll get you, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh my God. All right. Well, hey, so Canada, let's just do some Canadian slang. What's a 2-4?
A 2-4 is a case of beer, 24 cold beer.
I love it. Speaking of beer, what's Molson Muscle?
Molson Muscle. That's a new one. I would say, what is that? Protein shake with a shot of Canadian whiskey or something?
God almighty. I like the way you think. So the Molson, this is what I saw. And again, Canada is so big. You got slang from all over. But Molson Muscle, Canadian terms, is a beer belly, a pot belly.
Oh,
you got the Molson. I working on that Molson Muscle. I like it. A loony and a toonie. That's a pretty easy one for you.
Loony is $1. A toonie is $2.
How about a dart?
A dart's a sagret.
I think more people because of the show.
Trailer Park Boys?
Kilkenny or
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny. That's, I think, opened a lot of people up to some Canadian clang, but darts, I remember that stuck out. What's a bunny hug, Corey?
Oh boy, a bunny hug. I've never heard of a bunny hug, but I would imagine there could be some thrusting involved of some sort. Or
it is not a Canadian sexual maneuver. It's a hoodie. That must be from a different part.
Oh, yeah, bunny. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think I've heard that. Look what I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing a bunny hug. I got you.
You got your bunny hug. How about Cowtown? What's Cowtown?
Cowtown is just a small little city that's mostly farmers and farmers' fields and, of course, cows. It's a farm town, cow town. Cow tipping. Madison, Wisconsin, right? Isn't that the home of Chris Farley?
we got plenty. Oh yeah, we got plenty of cow tipping
you
around
ever been
here.
Cow tipping before? Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
I got deuced with mud. Yeah, right, exactly. All right, I got one more. A kerfluffle.
A kerfuffle, isn't that a scrap?
You got
like a little kerfuffle. Those hosers were in a freaking kerfuffle outside the bar, eh? And I told them, I said, "There's no dude. You're gonna kick your boots off and get arrested or something, buddy."
Just come in, have a Molson's here. We'll go to Tim Hortons afterwards, get some Timmy. It's gonna be great, huh?
Or you get old bubs. You watch Trailer Park Boys?
It's been I do. It's been a while since I've revisited it. So
you gotta get the underbite. You gotta get the fucking underbite going, Brock. I'm telling you, they're having a kerfuffle outside. Ricky's losing it. Julian's fucking wasted. Buddy.
Oh my!
Holy fuck, boys!
That is probably the best impression I've ever seen of that. The only thing you missed was Sam scratching. That's a nice fucking cat. Look at that. That's a
nice fucking kitty over there, boys. I'm telling you, you got to keep him away from the Sam squatch because he's been sniffing around here, and I don't like it.
Oh my God! Oh, that's a treasure. I'm keeping that.
I would get that. I would get that every time on the. I'd get Brantley Gilbert and Travis Tritt has a hoot over that too. Whenever I get into Bubs mode, his son will call me, FaceTime me with his buddies, and be like, Corey, do Bubs, man, do Bubs. I'm like, fuck sakes, boy.
It's after a while though, those glasses hurt your eyes. You can only do it for so long. All right, good. Well, thank you for sharing some Canadian slang. Let's do rapid fire now.
All right,
and we'll start off with the Canadian one. Gordie Howe or Wayne Gretzky?
Ooh, well, Gordie Howe was a little bit of was more rough around the edges, and that's how I used to play. But
yeah,
you got to go with the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Got to go with the great one. Yeah, and that's right. You played college hockey, didn't you?
I played junior, major, junior, and a bit of college. Yeah.
And your brother played pro, didn't he?
He was an NHL draft pick to Columbus Blue Jackets in 2007. He played 5 or 6 years in the AHL, and then he did. He spent about the same in the East Coast League, and then hopped over to Europe for 3-4 years in Germany, and now he was the assistant coach for 3 years for the Seattle Thunderbirds and WHL, and after 21 years, he's finally back home the assistant coach for the OHL's North Bay Battalions. So it's pretty cool
awesome
to see him behind the bench.
I couldn't imagine the fights you two had. Two hockey boys up in Canada. Your mom must have just been pulling her hair out. Oh my God.
Man, we used to play like mini sticks and have legit scraps, and it was so much fun. And sometimes when we sleep in the same bed, we used to play this. I forget what the hell the game was called, but we literally would put pillows in front of our faces and face each other and be like, "Ready, go, fuck it," and then just start going, man. And you hear mom, "Guys, knock her off, go to bed."
You're going to the penalty box. I swear to God.
Yeah.
All right. A New England clam chowder or creamy tomato bisque?
I'm gonna go New England clam chowder.
A good answer. Hard to beat. Fresh. Hard to beat. Disco or techno?
Ooh, I'm gonna go disco because you could see some really good bands play some disco, and it was a good era.
Did Canada have any big disco acts? I don't know. Did you guys? I'd have to look that up. That's a good question.
Disco. I mean, I'm sure there were some. I know my dad would know the answer to this for sure.
Real big on the disco scene in 70s Canada. I love it. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness?
I'd say Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Because he reminds me a little bit of the Sam Squatch.
The Sam Squatch. That's right. Sam Squatch. That's right. In Canada, that's got to be, I mean, that's a common thing around there. I know up there we get it, but you guys probably have quite a bit of Bigfootedness around there.
Well, there's Bigfoot, and the Loch Ness Monster too is a big one, especially in the big lakes. It's like, oh, he's down there.
He's down there making his way around.
I was always, as much as I loved swimming and tubing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, even in lakes where there's nothing that's going to get you, man, I still have a bit of a phobia.
Dark water. That dark water, dude. Yeah.
When you see the drop off and it just goes dark, it's like, fuck that.
I'm going to the shore with the geese. Last one. Would you rather take a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick at 100% power or a Mike Tyson punch at 50% power?
That's I would take the roundhouse kick any day.
See, that's the general answer I've been getting. Mike Tyson is so terrifying. People would rather get roundhouse kicked full speed by Chuck Norris.
You know what, though? On another note, Mike Tyson's one of my heroes too, man. I just love the way he fought, and I wish I would have really got to see him, do his thing when
in his prime,
when it was real, not rigged,
right.
But you know what? It'd be an honor to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
That's true. You die; it's the last thing you do, but that's all right.
Hey, that's fine. That's okay.
Cory, thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you for taking the time to talk new music, have a little fun again. Cory Marks, sorry for nothing. It was a pleasure, man.
Dude, thanks for having me again. This is probably one of my top 3 favorite interviews, dude. So let's do it again, and hopefully, I think I'll be in Madison at some point this year. So let's link up for a few cold ones and some great music.
I love it.
I won't smoke you out like the Theory Boys. Don't worry about that.
Appreciate it. Thank you. For the love of God. My wife still brings that up. So, Cory, really appreciate it, man. You take care,
man.
And we'll see you soon. I'll be here, so we'll do that. All right.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Have a good one. Cheers.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.